Hey guys, Cheesy here, and for today's video, I thought it would be a cool idea to do a full legendary weapons showcase. I will show each of the 9 weapons in action, each with a complimentary build and playstyle suggestion. If you're still a couple shy of all 9, this could be a good video for you to watch still because it will give you an idea of each weapon's strengths, weaknesses, and a general idea of whether it might be something you want to try out or not. In the name of fairness, I will not be dual wielding any of the weapons, but I will let you know which of the weapons would benefit the most from being dual wielded. Also, side note, let me know in the comments if a full legendary weapons location guide or walkthrough is something you might be interested in. I've got a couple ideas floating around in my head, but I want to make sure I'm getting out content that you guys want to see. Back on track, I decided to stick with the same stats for each weapon because I'm confident that they will show each weapon to its highest potential. Additionally, I'll be using the same armor as well so that the poise is consistent throughout the video. The last thing to know is I will be using Godric's Rune to beef up the stats by 5 for the PvE portion of the video. But for the boss section, I forgot to use my rune arcs because I recorded that part late at night and, well, my bad. I'm sorry guys. Further apologies, I'm not the best Elden Ring player by a long shot, but I gave each weapon a fair and honest go. Once I got to the boss and got him to half health with each weapon, I would start to throw a little bit so that I didn't accidentally kill them and ruin the footage. For the layout of the video, I decided to take a look at each weapon one by one by looking at the stats and lore first, followed by a PvE example, further followed by a boss encounter. I will aim to show off the weapon's skills as well as a general feel of the movesets. Well, with that being all said and done, let's get to the first weapon. The first weapon we'll take a look at is the Bolt of Gransax. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It's a spear whittled from the weapon wielded by Gransax. A great ancient dragon, Gransax once rained calamity upon the royal capital, the only time in historical record that Lindell's walls have fallen. This marked the dawn of the war against the ancient dragons. Its scale is the ancient lightning spear, which imbues the armament with the ancient dragon's red lightning. Then you throw it as a spear. You can charge it to increase its power. What we're going to pair this with is a lightning scorpion charm, which will raise lightning attack but lower damage negation. We're going to try to be a little bit of a glass cannon, so we want to increase the damage as much as possible. We will pair that with the Shard of Alexander, which will greatly boost the attack power of the skills, which is, conducive to the glass damage bit. We will pair that even further with the Godfrey icon, which will enhance the charged spells and skills, which will make it even stronger when we charge it up. And then finally, you pair that with the Carrying Filigree Crest, I believe, and that lowers the FP consumed by skills. So instead of, say, throwing it 3 times, you can throw it 4 times or more if I invested more mind, which I didn't, admittedly. We should be able to pair that with the Flask of Wondrous Physique, which will put the Lightning Shrouding Cracked Tear, which will temporarily boost lightning attacks, further increasing damage, and the Cerulean Hidden Tear, which will eliminate all FP consumption for about 10 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. Let's look at some of the stats that the Bolt of Gransax has as well. Oh, well, I forgot to mention that we will be doing like 5 FP flasks and 9 HP flasks, but it doesn't really matter exactly the split. It's more of whatever you're comfortable with. The spear itself has over 420 physical damage, over 220 lightning damage, and it scales with strength and dexterity, with a D rating in strength and a C rating in dex. It requires a minimum of 20 strength and 40 dex. So the overall plan is to try to be a glass cannon of sorts. We're going to try to deal a lot of damage from a distance while not taking as much damage ourselves. It does decent physical damage and lightning damage, but it really shines with its weapon skill. So let's take a look at it, shall we? So I'll just kind of commentate over these as it comes. So this is what I was talking about. The weapon art does a crap ton of damage. It's got good range, but it doesn't have like crazy good range. See, it's easily one-shotting the grunts, and it doesn't take a whole lot of P either, so that's a good bit to look at as well. We're looking at the Chunky Knight and the Gatefront runes, and it looks like it's going to be a 2-shot. And we're out of FP. I think we got 4 shots out of that one. I'm still looking. I think we still have that Flask of Wondrous Physique. I must have forgotten to use it earlier. But that's just how strong it is without even having the extra lightning. We're gonna hit a wall there. Programmer strats there, and I think we're just gonna keep showing off a little bit of that. Oh, but now we're gonna do some melee hits. I think. Yep. See, it's still, those hits still do some work, and I'm just throwing the spears at nothing just because. Why not? But yeah, so that's the PvE. It's fairly effective versus large groups, which is surprising to me because I kind of figured that against a lot of enemies it kind of fall short, given that it's kind of a single target skill. So let's take a look at the boss and see how that fares. Alright, here we are. This is a dungeon. It's a catacomb in the consecrated snowfields, in case you guys were wondering. So we got the Putrid Grave Warden Duelist. As you can see, it does a fair bit of damage, and we still got to use the Wondrous Physique. So I mean, yeah, as you can see, it's just chunking them. That's kind of sad, honestly. And then yeah, you drink that, and it's just crazy. I don't even feel safe throwing it anymore. I think I'm just gonna let myself die at this point. So I didn't try the melee, just because it's his L2 ability just destroys them. It's really good. So yeah, there you go. My honest thoughts, I think it's a pretty great weapon. I don't know if I'd use it at all times, but definitely worth trying out. I think Garbage and Shield would also be a good investment as well, so you can kind of do that whole poke and retreat strat. You know, defend, gain distance, roll away, and you can do quick charges and slow charges. Kind of situational. Obviously, if you charge it for longer, it'll do more damage, but quick charges still do a fair bit of damage. So, on to the next weapon. Alright, so we got the Dark Moon Greatsword. A moon greatsword bestowed by a carrying queen upon her spouse to honor long-standing tradition. Ronnie's sigil is a full moon, cold and leaden, and this sword is but a beam of its light. Its unique skill is Moonlight Greatsword. You raise the sword aloft, it bathes in the light of a dark moon. How's that work, a light in the dark? Anyways, temporarily increases magic attack power and imbues blade with frost. The charge attacks will do like horizontal blasts of moonlight as well. We're going to pair that with a Viridian Amber Medallion, whichever one's your best. Vastly raises maximum stamina. The thought being that the charge attacks will drain stamina instead of FP, and those attacks are really powerful. So we think that, you know, it's a good combination. I think that throwing that with Attack's Talisman, which will further enhance the charge attacks, is also a good move because, I mean, we're kind of just going all in on that aspect of the weapon. If we pair that with the, I believe it's a Rodden Sword Insignia, Rodden Winged Sword Insignia, it greatly raises attack power to consecutive attacks or successive attacks. And so if we can keep hitting them over and over with a charge attack, you know, keep stunning them, then we'll be in a good spot. The last stand would be the, I believe it's the Dragon Crest, it's not popping up yet, the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman, which you could replace with any of those other ones depending on the enemy, but it will boost your physical damage negation or whichever one you end up using. We're going to use the Spiked Crack Tier, which will temporarily boost charge attack power, and the Stone Barb Crack Tier, which will make stances easier to break, in an effort to you know, further stack our advantage with the R2. And I believe that's it. I mean, one thing to note here is that we will have 13 healing flasks and 1 mana flask, just because RFP isn't really too useful. It's more stamina dependent for this weapon. So on to the mobs, yeah. So here we are. We're gonna I think we're just gonna do every test at the Gatefront runes, I believe is what it's called. You know, powerful jump attack, go figure. It is a great sword. As you can see here, I'm actually not two-handing it. That's my mistake, but we will be using the L2, which makes the basic attack damage do more damage magically and frost-wise. It's got a good backstab. I think now we're going to go for, yeah, so that's, oh, nope, I just got clowned a little bit. Create a little bit of space, and then, yeah, we got one person. So far, not the greatest example, but I kept it for a reason, I'm sure. So let's Let's just take a look. Okay, use the Flask of Wondrous Physique. Oh, there you go. Oh, well. This is not looking promising. Okay, well, there you go. So, it does decent 2 hits, does 1200 damage. So, that's a pretty good bit. Okay. So, it is a Greatsword, so inherently it will do, decent sweep attacks. You'll be able to clear out a large wave from enemies fairly easy just by using its default move set. There's a dodge, and there we go. So we punish that attack. Let's see how it fares against the slightly chunkier knight. Okay, I missed a heavy attack. Why did I miss heavy attack? That's confusing. So he's blocking, so we're still doing through. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna take that to the face. Okay, sidesteps that one. What a Chad. Shield again. Not the most. Oh, well, there you go. I just kind of wanna punish. I just want to see how much damage it'll do, regardless. But as you can see, the extra stamina is really coming in handy because you really use a lot with this. It just kind of eats through it. So yeah, it looks like we just kind of whittle him down here, to be honest. So there's that. Yeah, not the greatest. Maybe it doesn't perform as well in PvE as I had initially thought it would. Let's just finish. So we're gonna use the Art of War again. Yeah, see. So it does good damage. Turn off my target lock there for some reason. It does good individual damage. And I think if enemies are close enough, it will be able to hit multiple. But it's kind of a narrow beam. So yeah, overall, I mean, it works. Not the greatest, but definitely not the worst. Let's take a look and see how it fares against the boss. Alright, so here we are back at the catacombs. We're going to head right back down. Let's see if we remember. Oh, yeah, we remember to use our flask right at the start, so that'll be good. We're going to go in here, target lock. Alright, we've got that enabled. Alright. Ooh, that's pretty good damage. Oh, don't panic roll. There we go. It does look like it's staggering him a bit. Oh, there we go. And that's that. Oh. Didn't get quite enough time there. We're gonna slap him. Not before we get some Scarlet Rot, though. But as you can see here, I mean, as long as you maneuver well, I mean, it hits hard. It's got decent, just regular swings. Okay, now I should not be hitting him anymore at this point. Yeah, I'm gonna let him hit me. But yeah, it hits hard. I really like its single target efficiency. It hits really hard on an individual weapon. Definitely two-handing this weapon would be beneficial. But yeah, I like this weapon, and it looks really cool aesthetically too. So let's move on to the next weapon, which is, if I can find it, aha. So here we got the Devourer Sceptor. It reads, a scepter in the shape of a serpent, devouring the world. This weapon will one day become the very symbol of the Lord of Blasphemy, a vision of the future briefly seen by Rykard in his final moments before being devoured by the Great Serpent. His unique skill, you charge a scepter with magic and strike it against the ground to steal the HP of all nearby enemies. Let's see. Let's take a look at the stats, I guess. We got just over 550 physical, just over 200 fire damage. It scales with strength, dex, and faith, all at a rating of C. 24 strength required, 20 dex required, and 25 faith required in order to wield it efficiently. We're going to pair that with the Crimson Amber Medallion, whichever one is your highest one, to increase your max HP. We're going to try to see if we can get some value out of the lifesteal aspect. Raise poise so they can't stun us out of the animation, trying to get the lifesteal. Urge Free Favor, whichever one you have, just because it's a general all-around good perk and it raises HP even further. And the Dragon Crest Great Talisman, because, well, this is kind of a staple on most of my builds. But it will increase your physical damage negation, and use whichever one depending on your circumstances for whichever boss. We're going to use the Leaden Heart here and the Opaline Heart here, which will boost poise and damage negation respectively. So hopefully it'll let us take a couple hits and be able to heal back the damage that we take. As you can see here, we're doing mostly heals. I mean, I guess we could probably swap out and do a couple FP, but yeah, let's get to the PvE section. Alrighty, so here we are. We're going in. Let's see what we end up starting with. Alright, so we're gonna use our flask. Good. And remember to do it this time. So, they got a block up that time. It broke their stance pretty quickly though, so that was nice. 2 hits with it. Let's go further in. We're gonna try to trigger this guy, see if he can summon the other guys, so we can get a little bit of a mob. Yeah, see if we can just grab these guys' attention, pull them toward the center. There's a big chunky knight. Alright, I think we're just gonna back up the hill a little bit. Alright, let's see what I do. Okay, so I'm gonna do okay, that was actually good. See, it does I think it did about 1/3 damage if they're not blocking. Yeah, I mean it can definitely clear out smaller crowds, I think. Let's see, so we took a little bit of damage, just see how much it heals us. Okay, so I healed us all the way. I'm guessing it's like, you know, it's probably proportionate to how much you steal from them. Alright, oh, so they did stun us out that time. Okay, not bad, not bad. They shouldn't be able to stun us out this time. Okay. So again, this guy, so I chose an area with a lot of shield guys, which may or may not have been a good idea. It definitely is slowing some things down. I bet you'd probably be doing a lot more damage. These guys would probably all be dead if they weren't all shield bros. I'm just kind of bashing my head against that shield there a little bit. Alright, let's see if we can heal up a little bit. Yeah, I'm only taking 74, so we're not great. Yeah, I'm really just bashing my head against the wall right now. Okay, so we've got a couple smaller shield bros. Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. See, so I mean, it performs alright. I mean, it steals health a little bit when you need it to, so I mean, that's something. I mean, it looks really cool though. I mean, the idea of stealing your opponent's health, I don't know if that's actually implemented at all in the rest of the game. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, you know, leave a comment or whatever, but I think that's kind of unique to this single legendary open, so that alone makes it memorable, and the design's pretty cool as well. Yeah, I mean, will it kill the wolves first? Yeah, so it can kill the wolves instantly, so it can definitely kill lower level enemies. And it hits pretty hard. So, I mean, yeah. That's, I'm interested to see the boss fight. Let's go take a look at that. So, here we are at the same boss fight as the last two. We're heading on down. See if we use our Flask of Wondrous Physique before going out. No, we're just going in. I use it after. Because that makes sense. Let's see. I'm not... we'll see. Alright, dodge. Oh, okay. Punish a little bit, but not as much as he's about to punish. Oh, okay. Yeah, dodge? Okay, there we go. I mean... Dodge, yeah. Oh, man. It doesn't seem like... So if it would like stun lock them or something to some degree, oh yeah, it does a double swing. Didn't know that. If like this right here, if it made them like falter or stutter or something, I think that would be a lot better. It just, I feel like it leaves you just open to counterattack a lot more than puts them at a disadvantage. So even if they lose a little bit of health, so I definitely think this is not the greatest weapon for bosses probably. I mean, it does decent damage just hitting wise, but that's kind of all you can expect to do. I would not, yeah, I would not try to do it's L2 really at all. It doesn't really serve a purpose. You don't. Oh, that's double one again. It doesn't really. I don't know. That's just my general feel. I mean, it's a fine weapon. I'm just not sure why it's a legendary weapon, if that makes sense. I guess you have this expectation that legendary weapons are going to be good in at least some situations, and while this kind of works in, like, you know, large enemies and mobs and whatever, maybe if it wasn't a bunch of shield dudes, that would be more indicative of its true value. But, yeah, I mean, it works. Yeah, there you go. I needed to die around that point anyways. So, yeah. Let's move on to the next weapon. I mean, thoughts, I like it. It's cool design, but I'm not sure how good it is in game. So, next weapon. So, we've got the Eclipse Shotel, if that's how you say that. Storied sword and treasure of Castle Soul that depicts an eclipse sun drained of color In soul, the sight of an eclipse inspires a dreadful awe, preventing an onlooker from averting his gaze. Skill is the Death Flare, sets a lusterless sun ablaze with the Prince of Death's flames, inflicting the death ailment upon flows. Follow up with an additional input to bring down the armament, triggering an explosion. So to my understanding, this doesn't really trigger in PvE much. It's mostly against, if you're playing like PvP, going against other against other Tarnished, then this weapon might be interesting. This also might be a good weapon to dual wield. If I had to posit a guess, I have a second one. Obviously, I haven't leveled it up or tried yet. Let's see what we pair it with. So we've got. Oh, we're gonna look at the stats. Apologies. So it does just over 300 physical. It does just over 250 holy. It requires strength, dex, and faith. Strength being a D attribute scaling, and dex and faith both being C scaling. 10 strength, 25 dex, and 30 faith is required to handle it at a minimum. My cat is trying to get everywhere. I got the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman, another kind of staple. You could, of course, swap it for, say, like any of the Spell Drake ones, or the Flame Drake, whatever situation you're in. That would benefit you the most. We also pair that with a Rod and Ween Sword. Greatly raises attack power. We've seen this one before. Theory is it's a fast weapon, light weapon. Be able to get several hits in a row. So maybe scale some of that damage up a little bit. Let's follow that with the Crimson Amber Medallion. This one and the last one kind of go hand in hand. Just whichever one is your highest one. But max HP, I want to increase it because the Radigan Source Seal will greatly raise the attributes. I think it's by 5, most of the combat ones, but it'll also increase the damage taken by, I think, like 7%. I don't know exactly, though. As you can see, we've got 14 Healies and no FP consumption. That's just because you use, like, the FP once. I don't even think that's really that worth. Like I said before, this is more of, like, a PvP weapon, I think, rather than a PvE. The explosion does a little bit of damage, but it also takes a while to actually get off. So, I mean, if you can get it off, impressive, but if not, then yeah. We're going to use the Crimson Burst Crystal Tier, a steadily restore HP, and the Opaline Heart Tier, which will boost damage negation. So hopefully, even if you take a hit, it won't be too devastating. We can kind of just bounce off of it, maybe just survive a little bit and make the best with what we got. So yeah. Interesting weapon. So let's move on and see what happens when we go against a lot of enemies here. Alright, here we are back at the Gatefront Ruins. Maybe I should be doing an area without shields, but I think this is everyone is familiar with this area. I think it's like the first place that people go typically. Oh, so there we go. Take one hit already. I don't think we've actually used our Flask of Wondrous Physique yet. If we had that amount of damage, it would have been healed by now. So just bear that in mind. We probably would have just taken a little bit less too. So it's got, basic backstab animation. I just wanted to give that a look-see, see how that goes. Big Knight. Oh, multiple thrusts. Oh, so that was me trying to... Yeah, I'm really trying to get the LT to work out. Like the double. We have to do the double inputs. I'll probably do right here, yeah. So as you it does fair damage. It's enough to kill one of those guys first try. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna try it again. Oh, I'm out of FP. Look at that. I guess I ended up bringing an extra cerulean tier vial as well, so that's good. I'm kind of just throw my head against the wall there. Nice. Love to see it. Oh, sword above and beyond. That's me. Cool. So that's the guard counter. Another guard counter. Yeah, even with the source seal, I'm not taking a whole lot of damage. Probably in part due to the Dragon Crest Talisman, which reduces the physical damage, which is all that these guys can really deal. And I'm also healing. Am I healing? Did I even use a flask? I did. Okay, I can see me healing a little bit. It definitely doesn't heal as much as you would like, but I mean, it's something. So I think that. So see, that's still, like, even when they're blocking, it does a decent amount of damage, and I think it probably hurts their poise a little bit too. I'm not sure igniting the blade really has an effect in this sort of situation. It might just be for PvP for all I know. I don't know. This, like I said, this might just be a PvP weapon, and that's okay. Not every weapon has to be geared toward PvE, as long as it's balanced, you know. Anywho, here we are at the boss catacomb as well. Walking on down. So I remember to use my Flask of Wondrous Physique, so that's good. We're gonna ignite that, just in case. I think it might do some bonus damage regardless. I'm not sure though. So let's see. A couple early. Oh, okay. That's my. This is all my bad. That's why you don't panic roll. This guy definitely will catch the panic rolls. Oh, see, what did I say? That double attack always scares the crap out of me. Yeah. I'm not gonna say this is a bad weapon at all. Just because I keep getting hit a lot. That's just me being bad. I like using the Oonga Boongas. There you go. He's hitting hard. I've already burned through a quarter of my tears. Jeez. Yeah, so he's got his roar. Okay, so we need to start dying any moment now. Oh, we got, yeah, okay, this is a good time as ever. Yeah, see. Alright. Well, thoughts, definitely geared toward PvP, but it's a cool looking design, and I think it's a really cool, interesting weapon. Definitely dual wielding might be a good thing to try out. Next weapon. The Golden Order Greatsword. A really cool looking sword. I was really excited to use this. It's a greatsword made of light, modeled after the Elden Ring itself, forged by King Consort Radagon to proudly symbolize the tenets of the Golden Order. Telltale signs betray that this was once the greatsword bequeathed to him by his first wife, Renala. Its skills establish order. You raise the armor in a salute, releasing a golden explosion. Repeated inputs rather, send out waves of golden light. So basically, if you smash L2, it'll send out more. It is exactly 300 physical, just over 400, or just about 400 holy. Skills of strength, dex, and faith. E rating for strength, D for dex, B for faith. 16 strength, 21 dex, 28 faith is required to handle this weapon somewhat efficiently. Let's see. We've got the Ancestral Spirit's Horn. This is going to be more PvE. Restores FP upon defeating enemies. You can swap it with, say, the Great Shield if you're going against the boss, just to be a little bit tankier, or any of the other ones. Shard of Alexander will greatly boost the attack power of skills. So, ideally making that Ray of Light just buffer. Godfrey Icon, the same thought process. And then the Sacred Scorpion Charm will raise holy attack but lower damage negation. So makes it a little more vulnerable to damage, but more attack. This one is a Holy Shred and Cracked tier and the Crimson Bubble tier, so restore HP when you're near death and temporarily boost holy attacks. We got a medium split for heals and FP. And yeah, well, let's just see what this looks like in PvE. And moving now. Alrighty, here we are back at the Gatefront Ruins. Well acquainted with this place by now. I'm not actually using as many cerulean tiers as I had before. Oh well, it'll be fine, I think. So here we are. We're gonna see if we can alert this trumpet boy. If that's even a trumpet, I think it might just be like a horn. I don't know. Just an old style trumpet, maybe. I don't know. So we're gonna get that. So boom, just instantly kill the trumpet dude next to us. So whoops. Yeah, we're just. Okay. So it definitely tears through your FP a fair bit. But it hits hard. I mean, almost one-shot that. Yeah, just one-shot those guys. And that's not even the primary thing. So yeah, it hits hard. Good jump attack. Yeah. It's just a really cool looking weapon too. Look at it. Wow. And then yeah, there's that. Boom. 2,000 plus damage just on a single swing. And if you can manage to like pair hits, you can be doing like 3,000 damage easily. So yeah. Really cool. I think this is a pretty solid weapon. It drains FP a lot, but with the FP on kill Thane, that definitely helps, or the talisman Thane, definitely helps to kind of regenerate that and keep the keep the motion going a little bit, and there's a little backstab. Nice. Let's take a look and see how it handles against a boss. In 3, 2, 1, Bazunga. Alrighty, here we are. And if anyone knows what Bazunga means, let me know, because I sure as hell don't. Here we are, same catacomb, same story. We're gonna actually make sure to use that Flask of Wondrous Physique, and here we actually have the requisite amount of Flask of Cerulean Tears. So we're just gonna get right off and throw. Oh Jesus! So 1600 damage. Yeah, consistent. Yeah, that's chunking him definitely. The thing that is really noteworthy, it's actually just, it's knocking him back every time. I think that like the Darkmoon Greatsword is just kind of a similar, has kind of a similar effect, I think. I can't remember. I think it might have done more damage, but I don't think it had as much of a knockback effect, if I remember right. And I think I'm not going to use my O2 anymore. Yeah, I just need to die there. But yeah, that's a really cool weapon and does really well in both PvE and boss encounters. So definitely worth picking that up. Wow, love the weapon. Really cool design too. Next up, we've the Grafted Blade Greatsword +10. This is the first thing I've actually leveled up to +10. It reads, a storied sword of Castle Morn, a revenger's weapon. It is burdened with oceans of anger and regret. A lone surviving champion from a country now vanished was so determined to continue fighting that he claimed the swords of an entire clan of warriors. Skill is the Oath of Vengeance. Swear an oath upon the Greatsword to avenge the clan. Raises all attributes for a fair bit of time, and your poise is heightened by a considerable bit when you have it activated as well. It just, I mean, look at that design. It looks really cool, and man, just a cool weapon. I've got +10. It does just over that's just over 800 damage there. Skills are Strength and Dex respectively. B rating for Strength, D for Dex. 40 Strength is required, as well as 14 Dex. So not crazy, but not easy early game. We're gonna do the Dragon Crest Ratio Talisman. Physical damage negation is Bay. We love it. Like I said, use any of these ones as well. Situational. Round Insignia greatly raises attack power consecutive attacks. So our goal here is to kind of just sit there and swing. Yeah, nice and simple. Unga Boonga to the extreme. Erdree's Favor, more HP stamina, which is going to be helpful for us to continually swing and just take the damage. And the stamina recovery speed will be good just to keep swinging. We got the Opaline Bubble tier and the Leaden Heart tier, which will negate the damage received by a good bit, as well as temporarily boosting the poise even more. So we just will not get staggered. It just is not going to happen. As you can see, we're doing all Crimson tiers because its only thing is a passive, so no Cerulean. Yeah, let's see how this handles large crowds. And now, alrighty, here we are again. Look at that sword; it looks sick. It doesn't look like I'm two-handed. Oh wait, am I two-handed it? No, come on, two-handed. Oh well. I think that when you two-hand a weapon, if I'm remembering right, it will increase your damage, or like your strength attribute scaling by like 50%, which for a weapon like this, it would give you a pretty decent bit of damage, but it's not a big deal, not a huge deal. As you can see, I'm just kind of hammering away. He didn't even have a chance to hit us. Yeah. If we just keep swinging, like I didn't even really need dodge there. I could have just kept hitting. See, just keep hitting. Yeah. So it definitely packs a punch. It hits really hard. It's got a big AoE swing. It's not AoE technically, but it just has a big swing. Not big enough apparently. Yeah. I don't know what else exactly really to say. It's obviously, I mean, I'm taking a lot less damage. My stats being raised is really helping out. We're really effectively able to just kind of walk and hit. Kind of be like a mobile tank. Yeah, it's starting to wear off, I feel like. I'm not exactly sure on the timing. It's probably anywhere from like 10 to 30 seconds. I'm sure it's about as long as the orby things are around my body. But yeah, pretty much one hits any minor enemies, and it chunked the big Oonga Boonga dude. But more importantly, it staggered him, which made it so he couldn't hit me at all. I might if I was gonna change anything, I'd change the damage negation in the Wondrous Physique to maybe the one that makes it so the stances break easier. I think that might be good too to break heavier dudes. Anyways, on to the boss section. Here we are again at, well, the same catacombs we've been at for the last, I don't know. I think I'm on 5 now. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, there you go. We introduced Wondrous Physique, and let's go. Is it Physique or Physique? I don't even know. Let's just see. Okay, so stagger. Okay, dodge. I want to get kind of into a. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, even against bosses, you're able to just kind of consecutively stagger them with the hits. You can't even power up. Yeah, no, yeah. This weapon is it's kind of sick, honestly. And it's kind of, I feel like it's Game of Thrones inspired too. I mean, just look at it. You know, kind of looks like the Iron Throne or whatever they call it. I haven't seen Game of Thrones in a couple of years. I refused to watch the last season. But yeah. And T-pose for the haters. Wow. Really cool weapon. I really like the weapon, actually. It's very basic. There's a lot that you can do with it, and it's exciting to think of the different build things you could go with that. Anyways, next one. Here we have the, I think it's the Marais. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that, but the Marais Executioner's Sword. Storied sword of House Marais, the family of executioners who presided over the shaded castle. Elemer of the Briar, the barbarian hunter, snatched the sword from the site of his looming execution and furnished it with battle skills from his home of Icawad. Icawad's dancing blade infused the sword with energy, and then fleeing it forwards in a corkscrew attack. The sword continually deals damage while violently spinning. Charge it to do more damage and increase the reach, or tap it faster, and it'll be more close range as well. Let's see, we're gonna do the Erdtree's Favor, which will raise HP, stamina, and equipment load. So just kind of a general buff to keep us, I was gonna say on our toes, to just keep us alive. Shard of Alexander will greatly increase the attack power of the skills, so boosting the damage a little bit, because I mean it hits a lot. So for each of those shots, well, you'll see. The Bull Goat's Talisman raises poise, so we can kind of take a little bit more abuse if we just stand there, and maybe be able to get a stagger off easier. And then Dragon Crest's Great Shield, as always, my one and only. Replace that with Spelldrake or whatever else, but effectively it just it does a lot to keep you alive. The Opaline Bubble Tier and Opaline Heart Tier, both Opalines, it effectively negates damage. So the first one reduces the general damage, and the second one will boost your damage once. As you can see, we have a few FP flasks, but it's mostly HB. Yeah, that's the build. Let's just look at the stats real quick. It's got just over 450 physical, just over 170 magic. It requires strength, dex, and arcane, with a B scaling strength, E scaling dex, and D scaling for arcane. 24 strength, 14 dex, and 23 arcane is required for this weapon. Yeah, it's a really cool looking weapon, so let's see it in action. Alrighty, here we are back at our favorite runes. Yeah, here we go. Let's just see. So he blocked the 200. Okay, so didn't exactly break through their guard there, but let's just see. I didn't use my ability, obviously. I think I'm gonna try to get, let him summon some dudes. I don't want to see how that does with a crowd. All right, there we go. First dude. Okay, so even my heavy attack didn't stagger them. That actually kind of surprised me. I really expected it to. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so that's our that's the first weapon, or first weapon art. So as you can see, you just throw it forward, it spins around a whole bunch, and it does a lot of damage. It's a lot of fun. Let's see if I can just get a heal off, and then see if I can use it to break anyone's guard. Actually, broke the dudes on the right guard. But I want to see how it fares against this chunkier knight. Okay. Every shot hit him. Okay. Oh well. I think it should. I think I just need to get it. There we go. And then you just finish that up with a salty attack. There we go. Salty attack. I don't know why it's salty, but it is. Well, let's see. Yeah, just punish that swing. that. So I think what it's meant to be mostly is probably like a guard breaker. I would imagine. I mean, it hits enough times in a row. I don't think each attack does a whole lot of damage. I mean, that just did just under 1,000 damage. So maybe it is an effective like damage output weapon or ability as well. But I think yeah, it mostly serves to kind of shatter their poise, make them stagger a little bit, break their guard, you know, whatever else. Cool weapon though. I mean, I think it works pretty effectively. If they're coming at you in kind of like a cone shape. I mean, as you can see, it kind of has like a secondary swing after that, and then you do a swing. It's hard to kind of get value with that though, because if an enemy's too close, then it's not really the best time to use it probably. So I mean, not so sure about that, but I mean, it killed everyone without too much difficulty. So let's go see how it fares against the boss. And here we go. Let's move down. Alrighty, and here we are. Again, same catacombs. In case it wasn't increasingly apparent, each new weapon. I'm doing this video more or less off script, as in I just didn't make a script. So oh well, that staggered really well actually. That that works really well. But what I was saying, yeah, I'm trying to just see how I do just by talking. So you guys let me know in the comments if you guys are still watching at this point. This is a longer video apparently. But I mean, just yeah. I mean, wow, this weapon though, it really melted this Putrid Grave Warden Duelist. So definitely really good against single combat as well. Just really will like get them into like a stun lock animation. So really good weapon. I'm gonna give my thoughts to each weapon at the very end too, like individually. So next weapon. Alrighty, we got the Rune's Greatsword, one of the coolest looking swords in my opinion. Originally rebel from a rune which fell from the sky, this surviving fragment was honed into a weapon. The rune it came from crumbled when struck by a meteorite. As such, this weapon harbors its destructive power. Wave of Destruction is its skill. You raise the weapon up high, then strike the ground to fire off a wave of gravitational force. So, basically, big blast in front of you. It hits really hard. It's a really cool thing to see. You guys will see it in a minute. It's really nice looking. As always, trusty old Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman enormously boosts the physical damage negation, so you know, take more punches. I think we're gonna try to pair that with the Bull Goat's Talisman, which raises poise. Not sure exactly how much yet. Actually, I guess I could just look. But I mean, I'm not sure if that's really super great at Talisman, so I might evaluate that later. The Shard Alexander greatly boosts the attack power skills, which is kind of what we're going to be looking at a little bit here. I'm going to go like 50-50 between skills and just using the weapon. And then the Green Turtle Talisman is like the other 50%, raises stamina recovery speed, so you can, you know, swing it. It's a great sword. It's a colossal sword, I think. So, you know, swing's heavy. We're going to do mostly a healing split. It does take a fair bit of FP to use a special, but I think healing's still more essential in this situation. Both the Opalines, so we're going to just try to negate as much damage as possible. So we basically, or it's almost a similar strategy to the Grafted Blade, but we're gonna try to use its skill a little bit more. The other one is more of a sit there and hit. This one's more of a positioning, hit when you can, but try to get in a good position and use your really beefy thing. And as always, you know, you can swap this out for whatever boss fight. It's very subjective, very situational. It's all entirely dependent on like what situation you're going into. Like yeah, and as I pointed out here, you could swap that with like the carrying filigree crest, or even like more health. Really. There's a couple of things you could swap out that for. Even the, yeah, Radagon's Source Seal, which also be a good thing to maybe swap that out for. You know, and you, instead of stamina recovery, maybe just get more stamina. And yeah, those two things, I'm not entirely sure with it. I'm going to have to do some private tests on the Godfrey Icon and the Shards of Alexander to see exactly what the difference is, I think. Crunch some numbers, but yeah, let's try them out on the enemies. Alrighty, we found ourselves some enemies in our favorite location. Here we are. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and use that Flask of Wondrous Physique, or Physique, I do not know how to pronounce that. First hit, second hit, third hit. Okay, so it takes 3 light attacks to break their guard, not too bad. Just take a look at that sword though. Look how awesome it looks. I mean, you could probably like find architecture, um, in the lands between that's similar. Hopefully that okay good. The trumpet actually went through. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe jumped the gun a little bit there. So let's just see if we can get them bunched up and see let's see what you guys think of the weapon art here. So that's one. Alright, so we got the chunky knight here. Let's see if we can get that off. Oh, there we go. Oh, and he did not like that one. And we're going to hit him with a heavy... Oh, and the heavy attack actually has like an additional effect as well. See, that wasn't heavy attack. That was just that too. But it has some like, more like, I guess some gravity magic. The spikes like come out the ground. And I think that probably maybe shocks them. Maybe sends them up. Maybe staggers them. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll have to look into that a little bit later. But yeah, really cool looking. It has a really cool effect. Definitely a lot of power, a lot of strength versus multiple enemies. A very good weapon for utility. So yeah, definitely give my like more thoughts later at the end. But so far looking good. Let's see how it handles against the same boss we've been going against here. Alrighty, here we are at our favorite boss fight. Sorry, my voice is going out a little bit. It's going on 11 o'clock at night now. Here we are. Our favorite duelist, our buddy old pal. Alright, I can't even see how much damage he's doing from the screen I'm looking at right now. So the 1200 or 1800, I think it might just be 1200. So I mean, either way, yeah, it's probably 1200. So yeah, it's chunking though. I mean, I think the bigger thing is it's knocking him back a little bit. Okay. And one more hit, and then... Okay, so it staggered him. The heavy tech staggered. That's good to know. Ooh, that was risky. Okay, I need to back off. That could have killed him if I was being dumber. And obviously you can stack more like attack power, like attack skill things to make it so your special does more damage. It kind of depends on what you're looking for here. But yeah, I think we're on to one last weapon. Yeah, we just got one more. All right, and here it goes. So what we've got here is the infamous Sword of Night and Flame, the storied sword and treasure of Caria Manor. Astrologers who preceded the sorcerers established themselves in mountaintops that nearly touched the sky and considered the fire giants their neighbors. Unique skills: the Night and Flame stance, which is what makes this gun so broken. Sword. Hold the sword level and prepare to cast a sorcery. Use a normal attack. Night Comet sorcery happens, or strong attack, and you see forward with like a burst of flames. Like, that's just really strong. We've got just over 350 physical, 200 magic, just over, and I think we're almost at 200 fire damage. Skills with strength, dexterity, intelligence, and faith. E rating for strength, E for dex, and C for both intelligence and faith. 12 strength, 12 dex, and 24 intelligence and 24 faith will be required to operate this weapon at peak efficiency. But yeah, it's a cool looking sword, and its Night and Flame stance is quite powerful, as you'll see in just a couple minutes here. We're going to use the Carrion Filigree Crest, which will lower FP consumed by skills, allowing us to use the abilities a little more, get a little more juice out of them. We're gonna supplement that with the Ancestral Spirit's Horn, which restores FP upon defeating enemies, which is good for PvE. But if we're gonna go against bosses, gosh, if only I could talk. If we're gonna go against bosses, however, it might be worth swapping it out for, well, really anything, but specifically something that will enhance the attack damage probably. So yeah, just swap that out. Godfrey Icon enhances charge spells and skills. I need to look a little more into what that does, but it definitely increases the damage by a fair bit. And then just to kind of round it up, we'll do the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman just for some general safety. And then as always, you can swap it out. Whatever, it's all subjective. Whatever you need for your situation. We're going to use a Cerulean Hidden Tear and a Magic Shroud and Cracked Tear, which will illuminate FP consumption for I believe 10 seconds, and then temporarily boost magic attacks. Yeah, we're still gonna lean heavily on health, because I always do, unless I'm doing like a mage build. I always get more health potions than FP potions, but still a fair bit of FP potions. And with the rune, it should be pretty equitable. any rate, here we are. You know, gate front runes again. Might be crazy. Might be a little bored of this place by the end of this video. We'll see. I've only been here like 5 hours, you know. So get that. All right, there's a little backstab. All right, and yeah, we just had enough time to get the trumpet off. And let's see if we can get these guys coming out. All right, and let's see if I can get a good showcase of Nine Flame. Okay, so that's a flame stance. That's what happens when you press the heavy attack, and then this is that's the light attack. So in short, the heavy one is more of an AOE, more of a group thing, and then the light attack is what I would use to burst down like a single enemy. Man, this guy is really up in my grill. Oh, he's dead. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and the other guys are just so disoriented. They don't know how to deal with it. Yeah, I think we're just gonna show you how freaking bonkers it is, and just to think this was even more powerful pre-nerf. I don't remember when it was nerfed. It was one of the first weapons that was nerfed, though, I think. Yeah, and I never actually tried this out in PvP, but that's probably why it was nerfed, if I had to imagine. I don't really think they nerf a whole lot of weapons due to their performance in PvE, because I think that's probably where they do most of their weapon testing, and like betas and whatever, is in PvE. So, yeah. Here we are. Ooh, we're going to do a sneaky beaky bit here. Just get a little backstab. Kaplow. But yeah, really cool looking weapon, and definitely really powerful still, even after the nerf. So it's kind of like a common deserter. Let's see how it goes against the boss. 3 guesses if you can guess which boss. But in all seriousness, this is the last one, and it's gonna make me sad finishing this video because this video took a long time. But don't worry, we still got another couple minutes. I might even try to just I was gonna say I can do filler content, just try to see if I can get to an hour, but I don't think I will. But as you can see, there's that. It absolutely just shreds and knocks him back. Try the flame. Flame one hits really hard as well. Still more effective to do this one though, I think, for the single target. Yeah, it is over 2200 damage. Flame, yeah. Okay. And then it swings decently hard. Yeah, there's that. Oh, okay. There we go. Nice. But yeah, great weapon though. Really strong against waves and individual enemies. Like it's got 2 different modes. It's about as convenient as it gets. You know, it's about as explicit as you get from FromSoft. So, anyways, let's talk about the weapons now. So I'm just going to talk about each of the weapons one by one. I'm not going to use any video yet. I mean, by the time you guys are watching this, there'll be video. But I'm just going to kind of articulate my thoughts after playtesting for like the several hours that I took, and rewatching it while I'm doing this too kind of gives me a new perspective. Bolt of Gransax. That it's a solid spear. I definitely think that it could benefit from maybe like a shield paired with it, or probably a shield. I think 2-wielding is also a very viable alternative. But I think that the magic in that weapon, and most of these weapons probably, but specifically the Bolt of Gransax, is its L2. It hits for a lot of damage, and you can equip the right talismans and use the right flasks, and you can be doing a lot of damage against a single enemy. So man, that weapon is it's really cool to use also. I think you get hyper armor when you're going up. I think they actually added that to a lot of weapons recently, like Melania's blade, which I will be doing a video on all remembrances soon, which it's going to be a lot more sizable than this. So it's going to be a little while, maybe like another 2 weeks or something. There will be another video between now and then, but that's a video I'm really excited for, because I haven't really tried out every single one myself, so I'm excited to see what they're all like. But to conclude the Bolt of Gransax critique, I mean it's just like solid. I mean the spears overall aren't like the greatest in this game. I don't feel like, unless you want like poke, but I mean they pierce. And I mean, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I think the L2 is definitely where it's at. You kind of just got to build around that, become a little bit of a glass cannon there. Moving on to our second one, which I believe was the Dark Moon Greatsword, bestowed upon us by Ronnie. So that weapon is really cool. I really like the fact that its special attack wasn't actually like a skill necessarily. It was the charged attack. It kind of lets you use different talismans than you would, for say the Sword of Night and Flame. So it's just cool. It lets you think in kind of a different way than you did before. I also think it's just really cool. It could be a little. I mean, the tracking could be a little better. I think. Like for example, when I was up on the hill, fighting against the multiple enemies, and it like went up into the air when I had had some enemies tracked that were lower than that. I don't think it can really aim down, I guess, which is it's interesting. It's all right. I mean, it's fine if that's the intent, but it's just something that kind of screwed with me a little bit. But I mean, it's really cool. The design of the weapon is really cool. Also, I mean, honestly, the design for all these weapons is really cool. I might do like a tier list just on appearances alone. We'll see. But it's really cool, and I don't know if we actually tried out the moveset without having that frost aura on it. But I assume the moveset's probably just the same as a regular greatsword. So I think what is really cool about it is the passive, the frost and additional magic damage you get probably. So yeah, really cool weapon. I mean, so far I think every weapon's really cool in its own way. Except for I don't know about this one. Devourer Sceptor is the next one that we did. I have very mixed feelings about this one. Like, in a sense, you'd think it'd be good, right? I mean, it takes a lot of health. It's in a big AoE around you. And it kind of stuns him a little bit, too. After, like a specific time. But that's, the thing is, you get to, like, really time it well. Otherwise, you'll get knocked out of the animation pretty easily. It's not worth doing against a single enemy. It's just not. It doesn't take enough and doesn't really heal enough. You need to do it against large groups to get any sort of semblance of value from it. I kind of expected more, truthfully, but it does a job. It does a job. I mean, say you're I don't want to spoil stuff, but I mean the game's been out for a couple months now, so it's probably not that big of a deal. I mean, if you're seeing all these weapons anyways, it's kind of spoilers regardless. But in like Moog's area, where you got all those like shriveled up corpses, the blood corpses or whatever, that are wandering around, maybe using this, we'll be able to clear out a lot of them. And if you take any of the bleed damage, then it heal. But I think it's just kind of a niche thing, and it has a really cool idea, but I don't know if the execution is done well. And that's the thing, like, I don't know how they would have done the execution better myself. So I don't know. I think a way it could have been better is to make it go through block maybe, but then that would just be busted in PvP, and it'd be so hard to balance. I don't even want to think about it. Next one, speaking of PvP, was the Eclipse Shotel. I don't know how to pronounce that. So it looks really cool. And I'm not sure if the black flame surrounding the blade when you use the L2 damage is anything other than players. I don't know. I'm gonna need to do more like specific like number testing. I think that might release in another video, kind of like really deep diving into each one, like the stats and kind of the breakdown of points. But the Eclipse Shotel, I think, is definitely meant for PvP. I think it's also another thing that would be good dual-wielded, so you can get that power stance. I don't think that it really has much of an effect against things that aren't people, if that makes sense. But I mean, it looks really cool, and I'm gonna try it out in PvP. I think I might do like a separate video entirely, trying out each of these in PvP with similar builds that I use in this. Maybe just a little bit different, more geared toward PvP. To be honest, I still haven't even done like a duel necessarily yet, so I might make a video on that soon too. Yeah, I'm scared though, because this character is really high level, so I mean, we'll have to see what happens here. Next one was the Golden Order Greatsword. That was actually... I remember being really impressed with this weapon, actually. Originally, I was really bummed, because I tried this weapon a long time ago. I didn't realize if you spammed out to, it would do the Ray of Light. And I thought it was just like the clockwork, like... I don't even know how I phrased it. But, like, you know, the arm, you know, going from vertical to 90 degrees, and it's just like the damage around. And the damage around I found wasn't enough to make sense that it would be a legendary weapon, I guess. I was just really disappointed. And then when I was doing this and did research, go figure, I found out that it does that whole Ray of Light thing, and that was crazy. And if, you know, you build around it and you increase your holy damage using different talisman and different flask concoctions, it does a lot of damage. And just like the weapon design itself is really, really, really cool. I don't know exactly how to critique weapon design. You know, I might have to watch a video on it or something. But I keep saying really cool, but they all are really cool. They look really neat. I think this is really cool because it's kind of a sneak peek at like what the Elden Ring kind of looks like. Not that we didn't see any like the cover art, but it's just really cool. You just, when you wield that weapon, you feel like I mean, like someone, I guess. Like you're like, whoa, this is like some legit stuff right here, you know? Let's see. So I definitely think that's a really good weapon, and one that definitely went under the radar for me. I'm curious what other YouTubers have to say about it. I might do some more digging after this video drops, and maybe release some additional thoughts in the future that are a little bit better articulated. The next one was the Grafted Blade. That's the easiest one to get, I think. It's just, you know, Castle Morn, so just go south of the starting area. You could probably get it at level 1 without too much difficulty. You have to fight the Misbegotten. But the Grafted Blade, the build I did, you know, just the wandering tank sort of thing, where you just kind of sit there and take the hits. It worked really well. I mean, you pair that with one of the perfumes. I forget which one it's called or whatever, but it makes you like full metal, basically. Full Metal Alchemist. Anyways, it makes you like full metal, and have a crap ton of poise and a lot of damage resist. So if you pair that with a Grafted Blade, I think you would just be nigh invincible. I mean, you just be a walking tank, basically. Like, I can imagine doing that against Radagon at the end or something. That'd be sick. But I mean, the Grafted Blade looks really cool, very Game of Thronesy. And I kind of like not having to worry about using the various weapon skills, and instead just focusing on like regular combat. I think that's really cool. I played through the game. I don't even know if I even ever actually used weapon arts. Then like my first playthrough, I played with like the Bloodhound's Fan and the Shield, and I didn't understand how parrying worked because, you know, I mean, Elden Ring is my first Soulsborne game, in case anyone, you know, didn't pick that up from any of the other 1,000 clues. But I had the shield that the Vagabond starts with that allows you to parry, and I didn't know really what parrying exactly meant, I guess, or how to execute it. So I kind of just didn't ever press L2, like ever, until the very end of the game. And at that point, it's just kind of like, whatever. I still didn't really use it. I'd kind of gotten used to the style of not. So Grafted Blade is really cool, though. I like kind of just being like able to not have to worry about anything else and just swinging my sword. The Marais Executioner Sword, if that's how you say it, Marais, Marais. I'm not sure. I think it's Marais probably. Almost like French, almost. I don't know. I'm not intelligent sometimes, so don't quote me on that one. But this was a cool weapon. I remember fighting that weapon. I think it was the shaded castle up north, and that was a terrible boss fight. I hated that. It was one of the most annoying things because like I felt like you got like one hit and then you were dead. Not because I had low vigor or anything, but because if I tried to get back and I wanted to heal or something, there would really be no opportunities to heal. And so I kind of expected great things from this weapon, truthfully. I didn't know what exactly I expected because I don't know how that would have, like how to execute what the boss did, the Element of the Briar. I don't know how that would have worked. But with the Thane where you throw forward, spins a whole bunch, it comes back, and then you do, you know, a little swing at the end. I think that's really cool, and it makes it simple in a sense, so you know exactly what it's gonna do. And it's also really good at breaking like guard, and really good at breaking like shattering their poise. If you do it enough times, and so that's really helpful. And it also just it doesn't look the coolest, I'll be honest. Every other one that we've seen so far, I think in my opinion has been a little bit cooler looking. But I mean, what it lacks in appearance, it has in utility. It's really, I mean, I'm sure you could build around specifically the L2 aspect of it and get it to do a fair bit more damage. You know, using like Shards of Alexander, the Godfrey icon, and whatnot. So yeah, it's a pretty cool weapon. Definitely not one of the top tier ones, I don't think, but it's pretty good. Which brings us to the Runes Greatsword. I think it's this one and then the Knight of Flame, which is last. So Runes Greatsword. This is like, I really like the look of the Runes Greatsword. It looks really cool. I really didn't use any of like the big colossal weapons ever, because I didn't really have a whole lot of extra somber stones lying around in my first playthrough. God, I don't even want to talk about the farming I had to do to get enough runes to buy like the 5 million worth. I didn't just upgrade these. I upgraded all of my special weapons to 9. But yeah, regardless, the Runes Greatsword looks really cool. It swings hard, hits hard. But the L2 is just nasty. It just does so much damage and it staggers everybody. And it just, I think like it's like, I don't know. It'd be cool to look at like which bosses it staggers and which ones it doesn't. I feel like a weapon like the Runes Greatsword could like trivialize even like a boss like Melania, you know, because she is really susceptible to being staggered. But I mean, if you use it against like the Elden Beast, for example, I don't think it would have as much of an effect. So trade-offs there. But it definitely hits really hard, and for enemies that are easily staggerable, the Runes Greatsword will just destroy them. And last but not least, we got the Sword of Night and Flame, located at Carrion Manor. I don't really know exactly what else to say about this. It looks decent. I've never really been a huge fan of the design of this weapon specifically. Like this one, I don't really like the straight sword aspect, I guess, kind of. It's kind of like, it's got like the flat end and everything. Apologies, I did not mean to yawn on video, but I'm just tired. Sword of Night and Flame, it hits hard. It's an okay sword, just as far as swords go. Obviously the L2 combos are just broken. I don't want to say broken. Because that implies there's something wrong with them, which I don't want to say there is something wrong with it. It's just really, really powerful, which may or may not be intended. It probably is intended because it's already gotten a nerf, so I think it's where the devs want it to be. L1, you know, the L2 R1, you know, does a lot of single target damage. The L2 R2 does a lot of multi-target damage. A little bit less, but it's like dispersed, so it's still a crap ton. Really good weapon. It does a lot of damage, and I mean, I don't know. It'd be interesting to try, like, do like entire playthroughs of like just these weapons and like see how they perform against like every Remembrance boss. I don't think that's something that's even remotely possible, probably, but it'd be really cool to try out. So we'll have to give that a go probably sometime. At least to some degree. I mean, I don't really want to play through the game nine times with a gimmick like this, because that's probably like a couple hundred hours for what would just be like a single video. So then maybe if I get like blow up and get really big, maybe it'd be something I look into. But for now, I got a nice small channel, so I'm not really worrying about anything. Just gonna do these sort of videos that are really cool to me, that really interest me, things that I would watch. And I hope that you guys are watching too. If you guys have made it to this point, I do really appreciate it. This is definitely a longer video. The longest video. So I'm going to take a little water drink. Water break. Water drink. This makes sense. This is definitely the longest video, and I've just kind of been rambling. The other 2-3 videos I posted were almost like, let's say like 95% from script. And this one is probably about 80%. 90, like that's honestly probably like 90-95% unscripted, which is a new thing for me. It's a little bit nerve-wracking. I'm saying a lot. Go figure. It's new. I'm really enjoying it though. It's relieving stress, but it's also giving stress at the same time. I think it's a cool shift. I kind of like not having to read word for word and worrying exactly about how I'm delivering the lines, but at the same time, I know that I'm delivering things that make sense and that people want to listen to when I'm doing the script, or at least I hope people want to listen to them. So it's a slippery slope, and look at that. We are just over an hour and 10 minutes as of this recording right now. I'm definitely got a lot of editing to do after this, so that's something I gotta look forward to. But yeah, hour and 10. Wow, that's a long time to be watching. So I really appreciate any of you guys that are still watching at this point, or even if you like skip through, just found the weapons that you like. You're like, okay, like I'm interested in this, and so you looked for that. Like say you wanted to look at the Runes Greatsword specifically, and that's all you wanted to see. That'd be fine. I don't mind. I will probably do a video detailing exactly where to find each weapon in the future, the near future, if I had to imagine. But yeah, that's probably about it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I work really, really hard on this, a lot harder than I thought I would. Which is, it's cool. I like having something I can just kind of give myself into and work really hard at. So, yeah, if you guys enjoy this video and you guys want to see more videos like this, if you guys just want to like support me and help my channel grow and help me become a small-time content creator, I'd really appreciate it. I am Cheesyplays. This is my channel, and I appreciate you guys being here. Have a great night, guys.